What's up, guys? Zach Dixon from Players Lounge here with another hashtag Mental Health Mondays video. This is the third one, specifically 10 years of failure and being the best me that I can be. So this is not clickbait. This is not a list of 10 things that I hacked into my life that immediately made me happier and healthier. It's not a call to action for you to start following me on LinkedIn because I'm going to make you happier or healthier. This is a list of the 10 honest-to-God biggest failures of the past 10 years of my life. And it's simply to tell you that right now I am the happiest, healthiest, most productive and efficient version of myself that I've ever been. And I'm going to explain quickly and candidly how I've gotten here over the past 10 years. The TLDR is I got fired from my first job. I collected unemployment. I worked a number of very shitty jobs I didn't like. I started Players Lounge, failed furiously, and now we're here. So my name is Zach Dixon. I am a 28-year-old addict and alcoholic with human with mental health issues. I also got a full scholarship to Phillips Academy, majored in French studies at Wesleyan University, and started Players Lounge, a video game betting site funded by the CEO of Take-Two and Y Combinator. So I got sober on January 4th. And all of these achievements that I've just listed, these are like things that society tells us validate me as a person. And of all those things, sobriety is easily the most important one that has paid the fastest and best dividends. So I am personally on a mission to change the mental health conversation in the United States. I think it's one of the most important things that my generation will do. If you enjoy my message, my mentality, or the way I talk about mental health, please, please, please share this article with someone you know, love, or understand is dealing with mental health issues. An insane number of people in the United States are on antidepressants and don't talk about it, seeing therapists and not discussing it with their friends. And specifically, the majority of people are not seeking therapy or group therapy when they desperately need it. So if you are out there quietly struggling, please take a second to consider how much happier and healthier you could be if you shared your struggles with someone else. A friend, parent, sibling, partner, therapist, HR manager, I don't care who it is. Just share it with somebody because it will make it easier. I think personally, a major contribution to people's general struggles are the misconception that everyone around them is living the happiest, most incredible life ever, but it's all propaganda. It made me personally very depressed. It's why I decided to start hashtag Mental Health Mondays and deleted my Facebook permanently. I actually made an article and video about that, so check that out if you haven't. So what you're consuming is the absolute highlights of mega curated lives. It's not reality. So I thought today what I would share with you is the absolute opposite of what you see on social media. And it is the secret to my happiness. It's about owning all of my failures. So I present to you 10 years of honest, open failure. I have always thought to myself, what if I could learn to not be incredibly hurt and self-conscious about my failures? Shame is a human feeling. It's an emotion that your brain is hardwired to create. But what if you could change the way you're wired? I've not spoken a lot publicly about this, and I'm going to write an article about it another day, but I specifically worked a lot of jobs to rewire my already very outgoing, somewhat shameless brain to feel less shame. I have worked as a cold caller, a campus tour guide, and even a nude model. When you've stood in front of 60 strangers for 60 minutes in what feels like 60 below conditions, your sense of self and shame shift a little bit at the core, for good. And people think I'm weird and crazy, and I am definitely both of those. I am doing this kind of content because I am training myself to be the best person and entrepreneur that I like to be. So I have never had a problem crying in front of strangers or crying after losing a big soccer game. It just didn't bother me, and I never saw it as hypo-masculine. My dad taught me that it was okay to cry as a man, and I think that's one of the most important lessons a father can teach his son. So each of the big failures that I've listed out has made me cry personally in front of friends, family, or complete fucking strangers. So going back to 2008 when I graduated from Andover, I did not get into Yale because I spent way too much time playing video games and not nearly enough time doing homework, studying for the SAT, and generally making the most of a full scholarship at the best boarding school in the world. I regretted that and beat myself up for a while about it. In 2009, I spent my entire first year at Wesleyan drinking and smoking myself into a stupor, still punishing myself for not getting into Yale. And I got bad grades. And I got such bad grades that I was not going to be able to transfer to a better school. I also got caught cheating in Economics 110 and almost got kicked out. That was crazy. So 2010, I pledged a fraternity, which seemed really awesome at the time, and I played terribly on the soccer team as a result of it because I was so hungover all the time. And I laid a significant foundation for a more abusive, alcoholic, and drug-using lifestyle. In 2011, I failed to get a legitimate summer internship before my junior year of school, and I decided to just take summer classes at Wesleyan. And I took Calculus 2, which was a class I'd already taken several years prior at Andover. I got a 5 on the AP exam, and I was just basically retaking it to get an easy A, and fucked around so much that I got a B- in a class I'd already taken 3 years prior. 2012, I failed to line up a legitimate job for myself and decided to move to France to work as an au pair for the summer. I loved France, I love French, and I loved taking care of the 2-month-old and 2-year-old that I was, the au pair for, the manny for. But my family and I failed to come to an agreement on what qualified as work, and I was spending 24 hours a day taking care of a 2-month-old. And so anyways, I quit that job after 5 weeks, and I came to the US shortly thereafter without a job. 2013, I got an internship at Major League Soccer that paid less than minimum wage, did not get hired there, and I almost got fired twice, in fact. Once was because I asked the commissioner of Major League Soccer if the single entity structure was inhibiting the growth of American soccer, which there's financial and economic evidence to show this. Needless to say, the commissioner laughed and said good question and gave me some candid or polished answer. Next day I got called into HR. Same thing kind of happened with Sunil Gulati, who's the president of US Soccer. Similar kind of situation. Almost got fired twice from a below minimum wage internship. 2014, I finally got my first job, got the first apartment, got the benefits. Job was going great for 6 months, and then I realized it was a terrible job. I hated it. I had not negotiated a salary, and I was utterly stuck in a completely hopeless career path. Started smoking a lot more pot. My boss and I did not get along, and he thought it was appropriate to publicly humiliate me in front of my company's open floor office plan on project details that he would not CC or BCC me on. So needless to say, I got fired from that job after a year and collected unemployment. So I went to the World Cup in Brazil summer 2014, came back to the US, tried to find some jobs for the rest of 2014. 2015 rolls around. I still don't have a job that I love, but we started our first ever Players Lounge events, and I decided to go full-time on Players Lounge, and we raised a small angel investment from our current CFO, Mark Murphy, and we failed to scale an events business with contracts from EA and Budweiser. And I ended up taking a sales job later in 2015 at New York City Football Club to make ends meet while we transitioned Players Lounge from an events company to our current iteration of a website where you play video games for money. So then 2016, we secured an angel investment from the CEO of Take-Two, and I immediately quit my sales job after I'd only been there for 4 months. So completely and utterly failed to realize just how hard it was to grow a business from scratch to scale, and failed to control my anxieties and fears. Started smoking an immense amount of pot, was high for just about all of 2016. 2017, I got sober, but realized I'd failed to address a decade's worth of emotional scar tissue and self-flagellation for the above listed failures. And 2018 is the year that I have decided that this 10 years of things that were horribly embarrassing and painful when they were happening, this is the year that it's no longer embarrassing. And I'm completely proud of what's happened because it's brought me to where I am. And 10 years of serious failures, I'm more prepared than ever to be the person and entrepreneur that I would like to be. So just completely candidly, Players Lounge is going to demolish Y Combinator Demo Day. We're growing at an inappropriate rate, and a year ago I was chasing down people for investment conversations, and now those same people are, they were we got a lot of no's or come back when you have more progress, and now those same people are, messaging us and saying, hey, what's up? So it's nice for that kind of, change of pace. But, that's a great feeling, but what's the best part about this whole experience is just being able to be honest about my failures. Because when I first started posting these articles a few weeks ago, I thought to myself, am I damning myself? Am I labeling myself as a complete unemployable failure who quits most jobs? That was a legitimate concern and fear of mine. I'm a salesman and business development hustler by trade, and the honesty that I've incorporated into my content journey and life has opened up my deal flow in a way that I never could have imagined. In the last 3 weeks, my inbox has been flooded with biz dev openings, intrigues, offers, things that I really tried to force the issue on for the last 10 years. And suddenly, when I just speak honestly and candidly, these things just start coming to me. So it's that's something that I feel like I wanted to share with everyone, that honesty will, in the long run, pay out big dividends, so it's worth trying. So in closing, I would like you to imagine what you could do if you could do all that you can. What change you could make if you could change the way you think about your failures. I can't promise that what I pledge here today will be a repeatable strategy for those of you that see and read this, but what I can tell you very, very proudly is that honesty, candor, and a lot of fucking sweat have brought me more prosperity than I ever thought it would. So thank you for following my journey. If this resonates with you, please, please, please share it with someone you love or know that is struggling with failure, unemployment, or depression, because I've been there and I've struggled through that. And the only way that I made it through it was by sharing my failures with friends and family. So thank you as always, and I look forward to seeing you here